Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spiguyver coming to you from the trail. This is Spiguyver Backpacking, and today I'm back out at the Elk River Trail up in Independence, Kansas. This is a solo trip. I just really needed to get out, get a trip in, and the trees are all starting to bloom. There's flowers on them. The red buds are out there, so it's just the perfect time to get out. The weather is beautiful right now. It's a little bit overcast. It's like partly sunny. About 62 degrees right now. It's going to get up into the 70s today, but there are thunderstorms headed this way. I do have my rain gear, and this will be a good test for it. I don't know how far I'm going to go. This is a 15-mile out and back trail, and who knows? I may go 15 miles, I may go 10 miles, I may go 7 miles. Who knows? Hey, I may go 2 miles, find the perfect place, hang out all day. All depends on how I'm feeling, what the weather turns into. Hey, I'm just glad to be out here. So why don't we do this? Let's go. I think it's really cool when you get up into here and you're up in between like the layers of the cliffs. It just kind of opens up and it has like a walking path in between, and it's really cool. Here you can see all the cliff edges. Really cool. So knowing that I was coming out here and that I really wanted to get some sort of a trip in this weekend, it's warming up. It's the beginning of April. We've been having days up in the 60s and lower 70s. The ticks are definitely out. And anyone who's watched this for any length of time knows the ticks love me. And rather than getting eaten, having hundreds of them on me, I've got freshly soaked clothes in permethrin. So last night I mixed up, I've got the 36.8% concentrated formula. You do 2 ounces of that to a gallon of water, mix it up, let your clothes sit in it for a little while, and then let them air dry. I did all the clothes I'm wearing and my shoes, so that should help and keep the ticks at bay. On top of that, I sprayed myself down with Picardin. So permethrin and Picardin together should be a lethal combo for those ticks. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. We'll see how it works out. Got a nice little sneaky snake right there. Hello, Snaky. Cool little guy. And there he goes. Bye-bye. What I really like about this trail is just how diverse it is. You've got all these big cliffs that you can see right here behind me. Over this way is the water, so I'm along the the lake right here. But there's a lot of areas as we're walking that it's just cut out. So the lower half of this, maybe not right here, but most of the way we've been going, the lower half has been a softer stone. So it's been worn away, and then it overhangs, sometimes pretty substantially, like 20, 30 feet back in. Just saw a little snake, and then about 10 feet later came around the corner and there was a big snake. And I don't know what kind it was. It took off really quick. It was darker, but not black, like a brown with some flecks of maybe gold and black in it. But it was, it's pretty cool to see them out. Haven't seen them out in a while, so snakes, it's their time. Right up there is mile marker for mile 2, so just getting going. Okay, so while I'm walking, I found this stream, and I know that Chris on our last trip out there had filtered at this stream. And so what I wanted to do was stop, drink some water. I haven't drank anything yet today. And then there's a nice little cascade right here. Get some water in my bag, filter it, refill, and I'm going to start pre-soaking lunch. And I'm trying something new. So here's what we're doing. This is the Gossamer Gear crotch pot. That's right, it's a crotch pot. These two little mini beaners clip on my belt loops. It goes into my pants. It actually says on there for best results inside of the underwear. And it warm steeps, not really cooks, because it's not gonna come out steaming hot. But with it being a little bit warmer today, I got this for Christmas. Haven't had a chance to try it because the weather's just been too cold. Now that it's warmed up a bit, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I'm gonna drink some water, filter some water, and we'll see how this thing works out. So the crotch pot might be the ultimate multitasking device. Because right now, I'm hiking, making miles, and cooking at the same time. So yeah, I got it going on right down there. And you know, about every 20 minutes, I just kind of reach down, shake it up a little bit, maybe stop, do a little bit of the twist, and just get it shaken up. Just keep doing that. Plus, you know, the walking, the bouncing, doing it. I expected it to be really uncomfortable, but it's really not. I mean, it just kind of is in there, and it may be a little bit chilly at first because the water was cold. But once it kind of warms up, you adjust to it. It doesn't really feel like anything's there. It's just kind of part of you. So we'll see how this works out. You don't have to worry about any of the sweat or anything down there being a problem, because the Gossamer Gear crotch pot is made of Dyneema fabric, and so it is 100% waterproof, and so it should not be any issue at all. Plus, I've got it double bagged in Ziplocs just in case it was to come undone. More for me than for the food. I mean, I just don't want my food all over inside of my pants. All right, well, I gotta keep multitasking. Not sure exactly what this is, but something met its demise right here. Pretty cool. One of the things I find really cool about this area is the way that these rocks, they're big boulders, but they all look like stacked rocks. And that's the way some of the cliffs are, and it's really pretty neat. Okay, we're just a little ways past 5 miles, and you can see right out here, you've got the lake out this way, and then it kind of comes in here and swoops around. But right down here is where the river is. And so right now we're really at the mouth of the river and heading in. Hey guys, thanks for coming back. I found a nice little spot. I'm here in this group of trees, and I've got 2 trees here that are about the right distance, maybe just slightly further than what I would call a perfect hang, but they're gonna work out really well. So now that I've stopped, I was hiking for about 2 hours, and I've got my meal has been cooking. So why don't we disconnect this thing, pull it out. Let's see. Well, it's lukewarm. I'll call it lukewarm. If you're looking for something to be hot, that's not gonna happen doing it this way. But I've got that there. I've got the mayo that needs to go in it. What this is a packet gourmet, like a Cajun chicken salad or something like that. I can't remember. One of their chicken salads. I don't remember exactly which one, but I like it, and so I'm going to add this mayo to it. Mayo adds a lot of flavor, but also good fat to replenish after a day of hard hiking. So I got in about 8 miles today. Pretty good day. I feel great. I could easily keep going, but I've got a soccer game I've got to get to tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. And so I don't want more than about 3 to 3.5 hours of hiking to get out of here. And I don't want to disappoint my son, so or my wife. So I'll make sure that I do that. And so I actually hiked a little bit further than this. I found a spot that I did really like, but there were people around. Haven't seen very many people out here. I saw one guy probably 2.5 miles back hanging in an Eno hammock. And then I passed 3 women that went by me, and then there's one person down there that has a camp. So, all right. So it's perfectly hydrated. I mean, it's been steeping for about 2 hours, but it's warm. It's actually pretty pleasant. Now this is one of their cold prep meals. But I actually like some of their cold prep meals with hot water. It tends to rehydrate a little bit better. But this one actually, this temperature is actually pretty nice. I could see doing this more often. All right, let me eat. I'll bring you guys back to set up camp. Okay, one of the things I wanted to do on this trip, I've got this new tarp from Cedar Ridge Outdoors that I used on the last big trip that Chris and I did. And I have this continuous Ridgeline that I want to put on it. And I've got a hammock gear single sleeve. So what I want to do is run this through here. And the easiest way to do that is to bunch this whole thing up and then use something to put it through. My spoon actually works really well. So it's gonna take a few minutes, get this thing all bunched up, because it's pretty long, being 12 foot. But you wanna keep it open in the center so that you have a channel that you can put the spoon through in order to run that through. And it does keep getting more and more narrow as you go down through. So it gets a little bit tougher to keep going, and you've got to just be careful, go slow. Okay, we've only got probably 2.5 feet left to go on that. Okay, we're getting really close to the end. What I can do here is actually pull my thumb out, use the spoon, and pull the rest of it over the spoon. So now I've got the spoon running through the center. And so I can take an end of this line and use the spoon to pull it through. Usually I'll use a smaller end, but since I had this one there. Alright, so now I've got it. I can pull this through, and now it is in there. And so it's on the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hang up the line. I'm going to string the line between two trees, and then it has Nama claws on it. And I'll show you guys how those work. Right there's a Nama claw. And I'm going to attach this tarp to it so that I can then string it and have it with the sleeve, so I can just put it up real easy. So let me get this thing strung up, come back and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so what I did was I took the tarp out of the bag. I put 2 loops on either side so that I could connect it to the Nama claw, slid the Nama claws all the way out so that the center ridge line of the tarp was tight. And now it's on that continuous ridge line. Now if I wanted to stow it, I just come over, I grab that net, the hammock sleeve, and just walk it down through. And it's that simple to stow and to take down your tarp once you have one of these single piece sleeves on there. To pull it back out, I simply grab it, walk to the end, and just pull it. And now your tarp's deployed again. Alright, I've got a couple other things I want to do to this. I'll come back and show you once I get them done. Okay, here is my setup for tonight. What I just did was add these loops with a prusik and a line that I could do my poles over the top to do a pole mod. And what that does, if we look inside, you can see how much it opens it up. I mean, it really makes a nice wide open tarp in here. And if there's going to be a storm coming in, I've got plenty of room in here. I don't have it down all that low to the ground, but I am in a little bit of a protected area, even though the wind is hitting me pretty good. I think I'm going to be just fine no matter what happens tonight. I've got my Dream Hammock Darien for the underquilt. I've got my Phoenix 40 for the top quilt. I have a Jaxar Better Shenandoah. I've got my Outdoor Wilderness pillow. I've got my hang time hook up there. I've got some Venom webbing from Myers Tech with a carabinerless system there. Showed you the setup for the Ridgeline on the tarp. And then on each of the pullouts, so we've got the 4 pullouts, I have shock cord that goes down to a tarp worm. So this tarp worm is my preferred method of doing it, and then it comes down to MSR groundhog stakes. So that's how I do that. And right now I've got the doors just kind of pinned up, but what I'll do is I'll actually run this side door down to the stake over there, and that door over there down to this stake, and that's how I run my door system. I've got shock cord on there, and so works pretty well no matter how wide you have it pitched or how steep you have it pitched. It works out pretty well. So that is home for tonight. Okay, so for dinner tonight, I've got the Outdoor Pantry beef stew. I've had it before, but I didn't prepare it completely to the directions last time, so I'm going to make sure I do that this time. So for the cook kit tonight, I went pretty light on this one. I've got the Light AF Cuban bag. The lid is that Lacura Ruta Lacura carbon fiber lid, so super lightweight. I've got the Toaks 550 light pot, my super lightweight titanium windscreen, and the Spiguyver 2. So I've been playing around. I like the Spiguyver. I like using the Spiguyver stove, but because of the tippiness, I went and I created the Spiguyver 2 and the Spiguyver XL. So the 2 works really well with the 550. You can see the size. Works pretty much perfect. I've got about 2.5 ounces of fuel. Only takes about a ½ ounce to do dinner. So I'm gonna start getting stuff going. There is a storm rolling in, so it may start raining. I may have to move this under the tarp, but thought I'd get it started now. That's what's for dinner. Now when you look down in there, you can see those huge chunks of beef. And look at this. That is a chunk of beef. It's either one of two, beef tenderloin or roast chuck. So if that's a piece of tenderloin, that is a pretty beefy chunk. Okay, so the storms that were supposed to roll in earlier are now starting to roll in. Got a lot of thunder rolling around out there, so I just went out and lowered my tarp about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches lower than what it was, just to get it closer to the ground. Because of the way the trees are and how far apart they are, my hammock is really low to the ground, and so I really needed to make sure that the tarp was down low. I'm not sure what kind of winds there's going to be. I know that I'm a little bit more secure here. Probably right around the time I was eating dinner, group of about 10, maybe 12, I don't know, teenagers or either high school or college kids, with one adult came in. I think they wanted this site, but because it was occupied, they're about 100 yards that direction, and they're out in a field. So we'll see how it's going to be for them. They're intense, but you know, I'm hoping that this thing blows through. Everything works well with this tarp. I got it from Chris Rainman, who got it from somebody that was selling a bunch of stuff on one of the forums, and it's been seam sealed, but there are a couple places on it that it looked, as I was laying in here earlier, like there might be some pinholes, and we'll see how that works out. We'll
We'll see.
Good morning. So I've got the coffee going right now. It was a good night. I slept really, really well. I did get woke about 4 a.m. There was a visitor here. I don't know if it was coyote or what it was, but I could hear it sniffing, and it was pretty close. I don't know what it was looking for, but my food's hung over there, so definitely wasn't coming for food over here. It was just checking me out. Either way, the storms didn't last all that long. Calmed down. I don't know, probably somewhere around midnight. But I was asleep when I woke up to go to the bathroom at 4. Well, when I was woken up and went to the bathroom at 4, it was starry sky. All right, well, I'm gonna get my coffee going. I gotta break down camp and get headed out so I could be at that soccer game. Good morning. It's a chilly morning. Well, I wouldn't say chilly. It's a cooler morning. It's a little bit foggy, a little bit wet, damp out here just from the rains overnight, but not bad. Had a great night's sleep. I got quite a bit of sleep, which I've been needing. Had that, like I said, I had that visitor at about 4 a.m. Still not sure exactly what it was. Not too worried about it. I gave a couple of get out of here's and a couple claps, and it went running. I got up and went to the bathroom, and I shined my light around. I didn't see any eyeballs anywhere, so it must have just kept going. Tarp held up really well last night. I was concerned, as that was the first time I'd used that one, and I could see some pinholes in some spots where the sealant may or may not have been covered in the pinholes. So yeah, it worked out well. No issues at all. Really like doing that pole mod. That's one of the things I wanted to do when I got to camp. I got to camp pretty early. Yesterday, trail miles, I did about 8 where I camped. It was about 8 miles in. But I did about 10 miles because I'd gone past it and then backtracked back to it. And so that leaves me about 8 to get out this morning. And really, I've got to do it in about 3 hours, which isn't bad. Isn't bad at all. I stopped a lot yesterday on the way in. I was doing a lot of filming and a lot of filtering water and just taking my time, really looking at things, enjoying it. So since I'm backtracking out same way I came in, I don't mind going a little bit faster this morning. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head out, and if I see something cool, I'll bring you guys back. Yesterday I mentioned some of these overhangs. So here's one where someone's actually set up a little makeshift camp area and has a little fire area. But you can see this lower area has like a softer rock that's eroded away, and then the top is left overhanging. A much different view this morning. Little froggy. So I'm just now finishing up, and man, I made it the 7.5 to 8 miles in right at 2.5 hours. So I was moving pretty good. Rocks and the trail were slippery this morning. I had a few spots going downhill where I was literally skiing down the hill. You know, probably 8 to 10 feet of just sliding without being able to get purchase. Luckily I didn't hit the ground. Thought I was going to a couple times, but was able to not. Man, I like coming out here. It's the closest trail I've really got to home. It's about 3-hour drive up here, but it's got a little of everything. It's got some pretty good climbs. It's got some really steep sections. It's got some, you know, almost bouldering. Let's see, just a really wet section right here. And right there's the parking lot. So as you can see, I'm just about out. So I'm not too worried about getting my feet wet at this point. So I'm just gonna walk through that. But man, it's been a beautiful weekend. Yeah, I had some thunderstorms. Yeah, it's a little bit damp and foggy today, but the temperatures have stayed a little bit cooler today, which have been awesome. Every time I get out with this pack, this is my new light AF pack. I like it more and more. So I've got the fanny pack on here, but I also added a pouch here, a low pro for my camera, for my good Sony. And then of course I keep the GoPro right here. Didn't carry much in the way of water, just this one bottle. And then I had my filter. I knew there were a lot of water sources out here, so no need to carry more weight than necessary. Okay, well, ORU. So Oral Roberts University, that's where those kids that I saw last night are from, because there is a truck, a van right here from Oral Roberts. All right, guys, let me get this stuff off my back. I'll come back and give you my closing remarks. All right, guys, thanks for coming along with me on this adventure this weekend. Good solo trip. I needed to get out. I really just wanted to have a little bit of time out on the trail. Wasn't a super amount of time. Only got in about 18 miles total. But it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed coming out here. I like coming out to this trail. It is a 15-mile one-way trail. You can put a car at either end and do it one way. You can do it out and back. You can do any amount of length in between there. I know that Chris and I have talked about doing an out and back in one day, seeing if we can do that. A little over 30 miles to do that. We'll see whether or not we opt to try that. But no permits are required. You just sign in at the trail register as you go in. No payment, all free. That's pretty cool. The other places I was looking at were a little bit further drive and cost money to do, so that's why I opted for this one, knowing that I had a short amount of time. So let's take a look at this map, and I'll show you guys exactly what we did. So started here and came up through, and I ended up camping right in about here, I believe. Actually, it was probably more in here. But I came up to about here and then came back, set up my camp, and then this morning hiked it back out. Right here, there's a roadway. This is where Rain Man and I bailed out last time we went. And then if you look at the video that I did with Justin, my son, we started here and came in and camped down in this area. Not quite to the point where I was, around another bend. But that's the trail. You can see right about here, it kind of starts to become the river. And it's kind of wide and has some fingers and stuff to it. And then you kind of get onto the actual river over here. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming out. Like I already said, if you guys have any questions, any comments, go ahead and leave them down below. I love hearing from you guys. So any questions on the trail, any questions on my gear, anything else, throw them out there. If you guys haven't done it before, go down and hit that little subscribe button. Next to it, there will be a bell icon. If you hit that, you'll get a notification every time I do a video. I do a lot of gear videos and not as many of the trip videos as I want to do. I try and get one a month, but over the summer, I'm going to try and push and get that up a little bit higher. All right, guys, I will see you guys down the trail.